Hello, 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 and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And we can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Purr. I am just drinking on some water here because hydration is important. But more important than my hydration is what I drink out of, and that is my cup mug. Ooh, we have a panel full of cup mugs, panel full of cup mugs. Beer, 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 beer. Traders edition, period. Bam. And you can get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. Unless there's some excuses. I mean, postal services are taking their time delivering things, but a delay is not a denial. So you could still order it. It'll just get there when it get there. So get your cup merch. Period.
All of that, and also you can get your new and improved cup mug 2.0 also now on sale. Hey,
Yeah.
there you go. Hi everybody, it's Brook. You're reigning and defending first murder every time I play the Traitors. How are you doing? I am not drinking anything because I forgot to grab water before we started recording, but I'm here for two reasons. Okay, and those two reasons are Danielle Reyes and Bob the Drag Queen. That is all.
And hello, my name is Jack. I am your resident game designer and expert of the panel, which really means I don't get any sort of salary, but I can claim to have a nice title. I am also drinking some water, and similarly to Brooke, I am here, mainly for Bob the Drag Queen. And if they are ever put in any sort of danger, all of the woke mob that you've been heard about, I will do that.
Okay.
I will do it.
All right.
And then also some other lovely queer people on the cast, because this cast is surprisingly stacked.
This cast is great.
You said that. I did not say that. You said that.
I will agree. I enjoy this cast. I think some of them more than others. Danielle Reyes. But, you know, it is what it is. I'm just excited. I am in my Traitors mode. I am here. I am ready for Traitors. I've started watching Traitors UK. So if you have not watched that recap, go do that. It'll be right there. Ding. But yeah, we recapped that. We're going to be doing another recap today, I think, for the second episode. So go check all of that out. But yeah, I am in my Traitors mode. I am very excited. It's Traitor season. I got my cloak ready. I'm ready to lie and backstab and do what I have to do to win because I want to be the best traitor ever. So
You already are.
That's my goal. That's my goal.
If you've ever played a social game with Lana, you know why I said that.
I am the one that kills Brook first in Traitors. I'm sorry.
That's just what I just do. Watch. I let it happen.
That's what I do.
It's not my problem.
That's just not my problem. Okay, anyway, not. We're gonna move on. But we are talking about Traitors season 3 of the US. And before we jump into that, we need y'all to subscribe to this channel. I said it yesterday on the UK Traitors, and I'll say it again for this episode and tell you my goal for 2025 for the Cup TV channel. I am putting all of my energy and effort into the Cup TV because I want to get the Cup TV by the end of 2025 on to be monetized. So we are trying to push 1,000 subscribers for the Cup TV. So we need you. I promise on my end to do the best I can to give you great content. We just need you to promise to subscribe to this channel. So help me reach our goal by the end of 2025. We will be at 1,000 subscribers or more. We'll take more. But we're going to give you content all about Traitors. Every time Traitor is aired, we will be right here the next day talking about it. And that's with every other episode, unless life situations do happen. So sometimes we might not be able to jump on it. But if there is no life or death situation, I will be here podcasting, even if I have to be here by myself. But we are having, because I made this for myself. I didn't force the panel to do this. So they don't have to. They're going to be here if they can. But for me and for mine, I will be here podcasting about everything we said we're going to talk about this year. So if I make that promise to you and stick to that promise, I wish you would just do us a favor. Hit the follow, hit the subscribe to the channel, get us to 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025 or even beforehand. And we'll continue to give you great content. And you can follow us on all of our other channels. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon, and all of our socials. So do all the things to say you support us, and we appreciate you. Enough talking. I talk too much because you didn't come here to hear me talk about or beg, because I will beg. You came to hear me talk. Oh, you came to us to talk about Traitors, past assessment for Traitors, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to get right into it because, y'all, I'm excited. I'm just excited. There's nothing else to say. I get Danielle Reyes back on my TV screen, and that, for me, is everything.
So before we move into the individual portion, like the individual contestant review, I would like to point out one thing, which is after season 2, which was won by 2 contestants from the challenge, we have nobody from the challenge on this season. And I know GamerFev is up in arms right now over that, but like, I'm just sitting here, I'm like, who would you have called theoretically? Right. Like, granted, Trishelle was kind of a weird choice and not a good one, but whatever. CT and Bananas are like the only names to most people that are like casual challenge viewers that you could like call right off the rip and they would be here. I think you could call like Cara Maria.
That was my other name. Cara was probably that, or honestly, you probably could call Josh. But at this point, I think he might be more associated with Big Brother in terms of doing well versus on the challenge.
I mean, I think he's only won 1 out of his 7 eliminations on the challenge. So, yeah. But like, you could have called Cara Maria. You could have called Jordan. Maybe you could have pulled somebody else old school.
I think Jordan is too problematic for the Traitors.
Oh, I agree. But I mean, so is Johnny Bananas. But that's beside the point.
In a different way.
In a different way. You could have called Wes, but I think he's still
Wes was doing House of Villains.
Wes was doing House of Villains because it was so much closer to the time commitment.
And he did House of Villains, and he was on Worst Cooks of America. So he had 2 other shows that Wes was doing. I think Wes would have been the only other person besides Cara Maria who I think would have had some mainstream appeal that transfers over from MTV to challenge into Traitors. Johnny, Bananas, and CT were the choices. Like, they were the choices that you call first and say, hey, come do this, da-da-da. That's what it is. We all know Johnny Bananas, period. We all know CT, period. And then, like, I agree. Trishelle was a weird choice, but whatever.
Again, not a good one.
It was what it was. But I don't know who else to call from the challenge that people would know who don't watch the challenge. You know what I mean?
That is the primary issue at this point, is that basically the people who are watching the challenge at this point are kind of hate watching the challenge. Like, politely, no one has liked the past 4 seasons where we've seen a lot of new blood come in. And the only way I think this ever recovers is based on the most recent season that is going to be coming out and that we are going to be covering. The Challenge All-Stars Rivals.
Yes.
I can
Davon Rogers.
Davon Rogers, yeah.
But that is the only reason I'm watching the challenge again. I'm just gonna be honest.
But once again, I don't think Davon is recognized from the challenge.
No, she's Big Brother.
She's a Big Brother girly.
From Big Brother.
She's a Big Brother girly, and we all know that she's a Big Brother girly. she's just a big brother girly who happens to have done 3 seasons of the challenge. And like, no, no shade, right? I feel like the casual reality TV people might even grab her from the GOAT before they'd grab her from the challenge. And like,
yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to get into a whole discourse about the challenge right now. Wait for All Stars 5 and we'll talk about it then. But it's just interesting that they didn't get even like some random from the challenge. Because one thing I like about this cast is it's filled with randoms. Like
Randoms.
just a few people that here and there that make no sense. I love that about the Traitors. Like you always get like Parliament member or like random boxer who used to be kind of successful or like Zac Efron's brother, like that kind of thing.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I just
it's
have
like, can we check off a weird checkbox here where it's like, I guess he's been on reality TV and wouldn't be accepted for claim to fame. We'll take him.
Here's my thing. I have one issue with this cast, and I am like, Peacock, what are you doing? Where's anybody from Love Island? Like, where's my Love Island girlies? Like, I'm very annoyed, especially coming after season 6, which was the most successful show on Peacock this in 2024, even beating the Traitors in ratings. Like, maybe they're under still contract. Maybe they're under contract still and they can't, but come on.
Well, I mean, if they're under
was it filmed
Peacock,
in time?
It's under Peacock, so it doesn't matter, right?
That's what I'm saying. If it's under Peacock contract, they should be able to do the Traitors too, which is, I know the big problem a lot of the time with getting the challenge people on here is that the challenge is owned by Paramount,
right?
And those contracts can be a little finicky. And that's also why I'm surprised to see as many Survivor people as we have this season, because we got 4 people from Survivor on this cast.
Yeah, but they're not recent survivors.
I mean,
besides Carolyn.
Besides Carolyn.
But her contract is way over.
Yeah. We'll talk about it when we get to it.
But go ahead, Jack. You were saying something.
So, I think the reason that didn't happen is simply time, because Love Island... okay, nope. I have to double check my dates for the US. So the filming of The Traitors 3 was in June. Love Island season 6 also premiered in June. So you can 100% expect Love Island on season 4.
Oh, absolutely.
Like 100% that's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope it's not.
It wasn't just around this year.
I hope to a degree that we get a few Love Island people, because I kind of like the drama they bring to the show just by being there.
Yeah.
They bring so much unnecessary baggage that so many other contestants on the Traitors just don't have. It's delightful.
Especially, like, people don't like each other and they left this season not liking each other, and then you bring them back for oh my god.
Not Ekin-Su.
No, she wasn't 6. I need U.S. Love Island girlies. I know. Oh my Lord, Ekin-Su. Oh Lord, Ekin-Su. But let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Let's get into Traitors. But yes, that does make sense since Love Island did premiere in June and they filmed in June. So let's get into our first Bob of the Traitors, which is Bob Harper. This is the guy from what's
Biggest
the show?
Loser.
Biggest Loser.
Biggest Loser. Yeah.
You seem very excited about Bob Harper, Brooke. I don't understand your fascination with Bob Harper, but please explain.
So let me explain. So when I was younger, right, I was like 16, 17, and I was starved for reality TV content, right? I gobbled up old reruns of The Biggest Loser. Right, to the point where I think I have seen every season of The Biggest Loser at least 3 times. So there's that. I would be more excited for Jillian because I love Jillian.
I hate her.
Okay, I love to hate her. That's the whole thing. Right?
Yeah,
I don't like her I like her a lot more now. She has
some things about Jillian. I'll send you some things. They're not good. It goes downhill.
Regardless, just from a TV personality perspective, Jillian Michaels makes good TV. But if we're gonna get somebody from this area of the world, I think Bob is more interesting than some of the other coaches we've had. He has that reality TV legacy. And, you know, we've never seen him in an environment like this. We don't know if he's suddenly going to show up and play the game like a mastermind and, like, just move all the pieces. Because, I mean, in his role on The Biggest Loser, he was a coach. Like, he was supposed to be, like, encouraging and helpful and, like, whatever. And it worked. A lot of the time, he really connected with people. And because of that, I'm kind of curious if he's going to be able to, like, manipulate a social game in the same way that he was able to control, you know, relationships with the contestants on his team on The Biggest Loser. So I'm curious to see where this goes. I don't know if it's realistic to expect him to be good at this or not, but it could happen. We've seen crazier things happen. I mean, Phaedra Parks ran the Traitors too, so, like, who knows?
Yeah. Jack, what do you think about Bob Harper?
So, I also have a history with The Biggest Loser. I remembered watching it when I was maybe like 12, 13, when it was available on Netflix, which did shape some very negative things, but we're not going to go into that because Bob, I will say, was very much the heart of the show. He is someone that will absolutely push someone, but will make it reasonable, will bring their spirits up. And I think that is something that's actually going to be really, really good. Bob is so after the show, Bob had a really, really bad heart attack. And from there, he became a heart health advocate. And simply put, Bob is someone who is going to be a coach in challenges and is going to make people want to keep him around, including the faithfuls, including the traitors, unless he steps out of line. I do not see Bob being a traitor at all during this game. I think realistically, Bob goes out mid-game to late game. I have a hard time seeing him winning because his strategy is basically just be the best faithful that I can be and help people as much as I can. But, I mean, I see him going far, but probably getting sniped at the very end as, like, everyone knows this person is innocent. It's the best move for us to keep the suspicious people in and take out the innocent ones.
I mean, I get that. I get your points, both of your points. I don't have any feelings about Bob necessarily, good or bad. I feel very indifferent. I watched The Biggest Loser. I watched him on The Biggest Loser. And it's like, okay, cool. He's here. I don't really have any strong feelings for Bob. I'm interested to see. I think he's somebody. I agree with you, Jack. I think he's somebody who's probably going to be like the coach to help the person and try to get things along. I think he also might be that person that just get on everybody's nerves because he's trying to motivate everybody and make everybody do everything and do right. So he might be the one that get booted by the traitors, not banished, but murdered, or, you know, because like, or because he's that good guy, because he might be that good guy. The traitors are like, this guy is never going to get voted out. They're never going to banish him. So we got to murder him. So people could be like, why would we murder Bob? Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about Bob. I think Bob is going to be here for a minute, if not, like, I think mid game, and then he gets banished. Gets murdered. That's my prediction for Bob. Let's move on to another Bob. I'm sure everybody wants to talk about. It is Bob, the drag queen, looking fabulous in their blue. I'm excited about Bob. Brook.
I'm just gonna keep it short, sweet, and to the point. If Miss the Drag Queen is not a traitor on this season, that is the biggest missed opportunity that Peacock has had with this show from the jump. Bob is a gamer, right? And this is not just from like a perspective, like from a just watching Drag Race perspective, watch Bob on anything. Watch the way Bob will make like subtle, like manipulative comments to Monet Exchange on their show on YouTube, right? Bob is so entertaining. Bob is so funny. And Bob is here to play, and Bob wants to avenge Peppermint as she should. So Bob should be a traitor. Bob would be a fantastic traitor. And I am so thrilled that Bob is here. Yay.
So, along with Bob just being a really good person and not the way that Bob makes manipulations or like makes moves has you laughing at the same time while Bob is fucking with you. And I want to start with this. If we can have Bob, who is from Drag Race, but also is from two different shows on Dropout, being Dungeons and Drag Queens, which is getting a second season, and Monet's Slumber Party. That means we can have Brennan Lee Mulligan on season 4, and I would kill someone for that. And just to be clear,
that is a delightful choice.
Lana, for full knowledge, Brennan Lee Mulligan is the dungeon master who has a large breath over the Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing scene there, as well as comedy. And they are also probably one of the smartest people in comedy. But anyway, back to Bob. Bob is someone who's very witty. They also do not give two fucks and will very much fight people and will get loud if someone accuses them of shit that they didn't do. And with that said, unfortunately, it is going to be very easy for people to pin Bob as someone to go out early. If he isn't careful, I do see Bob going out very, very quickly. But if they just link up and play their cards right, I can easily see Bob as either a faithful who tracks down traitors well, or as a traitor who completely throws someone off the scent.
I think Bob is here for a minute. I think a lot of people are going to go into this season with the recollection of what happened to Peppermint last season, and they are not going to want to get the backlash that Trishelle got last year for doing what she did to Peppermint, because it kind of looked really ugly. Even if it wasn't intentionally ugly, it looked ugly. So I don't think people are going to want to come after Bob, the drag queen, like Trishelle did for no reason at all. I think I agree. If Bob is not a traitor, it is such a disservice to us as the viewers. It's such a disservice to the show. I think Bob will be an amazing drag queen. Of course, Bob is an amazing drag queen, but Bob will be an amazing traitor. I'm excited to get to know Bob. Besides Bob the drag queen, I'm excited to know Bob the gamer. I didn't watch the season on Drag Race with Bob the drag queen, so I'm excited that this is going to be my first opportunity to get to know and watch Bob.
They're winning season, by the way. They won Drag Race season 8. Yeah.
Right. So I didn't get to watch that season, but I'm excited to get to know Bob the drag queen. I've heard so much about them, and I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity for a lot of people who don't watch Drag Race to get to know Bob, and I think they're entertaining. If what I see in the trailers is not indicative of what's going to happen in the season, we are in for a ride with this one, and I cannot wait.
I will say,
oh, go ahead.
Just with Bob, if you are going to watch any Drag Race season, Bob's is notably short. Like, I think only has like 8 or 10 episodes, and they're each like 40 minutes long, so you could genuinely pump it out in a day compared to most seasons.
And it's
I would
such
recommend
a good
it.
season. Such a good season.
But let's talk about another queen who we
Yes.
love. That is Miss Brittany Haynes from Big Brother. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm always excited to see Brittany. I'm always excited to see my old school Big Brother people back on television, and this is no different. I'm excited for Brittany.
I'm thrilled. Not even from a game perspective, just for the confessionals alone. Brittany is arguably the single best confessional in the history of reality TV. She's at least in the top 5. And so I'm excited for that. I don't want to get too much into her yet, but Brittany has a previous game relationship with Daniel Reyes.
Yes.
So that's going to be interesting. Of all of the things that would be brought up on the Traitors, freaking Big Brother Reindeer Games is the one that's happening this year. But sure. I think she is one of the best casting choices on this entire cast. I think Brittany is iconic. She's a legend. And I think that she's going to bring a little bit more energy to this cast full of a lot of low-key gamers. She's very smart and she is a gamer herself, but she's also a fun gamer. And I think that makes her really different than a lot of other people in this cast. I don't think she's going to get along with Nikki Bella also. Just based off vibes.
Probably not. Brittany is a very, very lively choice. I mean, season 10, season 14, and am I thinking of the right seasons? I'm probably not.
You've nailed both of them so far.
Okay,
no, season
great.
12, season 12.
Season 12. I was like, definitely not dancing. Dan. Yeah, exactly. So 12, 14, and then Reindeer Games with appearances on 25. Brittany is someone who is very naturally funny, very dry wit, kind of in the same league as Bob. I think Brittany will 100% know how to navigate a game with so many different and complex relationships, because we saw her do that on Reindeer Games. Like, of anyone, her and Danielle have the most. Her, Danielle, and then some of the Survivor players have that kind of direct link of like what happens when you throw a bunch of different relationships into a room and tell each other to vote each other out. I do think that Brittany 100% makes it far. I don't think she ends up getting selected as a traitor. I think she makes it at least, I want to say, to at least final 7, and then potentially gets cut or is found to be too suspicious. I could also see her as a late game flip to the Traitors.
That is true. I can see it. I love Brittany. Can't get enough of her. I think I agree with you, Brooke. The confessionals are going to be top tier. Her relationship with Danielle was going to be interesting. I want to see who she can't get along with, even if it's Nikki Bella or whoever. I just want to see the relationships that that Brittany builds, because like we've seen her on Big Brother. If you're a fan of Big Brother and you watch her, if she don't like you, baby, she don't like you. And she is not going to fake the funk that she likes you. It's not going to be a whole. She knows how to play the game, but she is not going to. We will get the snippy comments in the confessionals. We'll get the eye rolls, the as soon as they walk away, like, oh my God. Like, I love that about Brittany. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what she does in this format, in this type of environment. I'm excited for her. I'm excited. Moving on to Miss Carolyn from Survivor.
44.
I'm gonna be honest. I was shocked when she got the call to do Traitors. I don't know. honestly how far this one is going to go. I think she might be an early out for several reasons. One, I think she's very eccentric and like, kooky kind of, and I don't know if that energy is going to play well in this house, in this environment. You know what I mean? It worked in Survivor because people were like, you know what, Survivor can make you crazy, it can make you do, what, weird things, and then you always need a goat to go in Survivor. So she was picked as their goat. I just don't know if this type of energy that Carolyn brings is the type of energy that suits Traitors. So I'm interested to see what she does. Me personally don't think it's going to be a long trip in the Traitors Castle for Carolyn.
I have mixed feelings on Carolyn being on this cast. I have not particularly cared for most of the new era seasons of Survivor. 44 is no exception to that. I think Carolyn was one of the more interesting parts of 44 because she is going to bring the drama. The problem being is that I think she is going to bring the drama, and that typically, on a show where you need to have a filter pretty much at all times, on a show without having a filter, I'm right there with you, Lana. I think this is going to be a very short jaunt in Scotland for Carolyn. Unless she's a traitor and people and like she won't be, she will not be a traitor. But if she is a traitor, I think she could make it a little bit longer than if she wasn't. Carolyn being a traitor would be the gag of all gags. No, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, imagine a world where the traitors are like Carolyn, Bob the drag queen, and like Danielle Reyes. I would be so sad. But no, they're gonna make like Tony a traitor or something, and I'm not happy about that. If they're gonna make any of the Survivor people a traitor.
So Carolyn is a very interesting choice because this is the first time, at least, unless we want to also count Sifu on for the 5 seconds that we're able to see him on Beast Games. This is the first time we've seen any new era Survivor player jump to a show that isn't the challenge. Because the challenge has a weird asterisk next to it always. Carolyn, unfortunately, definitely gets sniped. Carolyn is very, very loud. The only thing that we know from her in the opening is that she immediately goes over to fangirl over Jeremy and Tony. So I feel like 100% she's going to be called out very early, either for just being loud. They're going to frame her for being she's a very obvious target as the early couple boots where if you stick out too much, you're going to go down. And even in her preseason interviews, she said, yeah, I know the strategy on the show is to kind of like lay low. Problem is I don't do that. So she doesn't go for it.
At least you're self-aware.
At least she's self-aware. She goes out in the first 2 to 3 episodes. I am very confident.
I am. I agree. Let's move on. Chanel, and I think she's a housewife.
Yes.
I don't
Housewife
watch.
from Real Housewives of Dubai.
Dubai. Yes, she looks familiar.
Yes.
I've seen clips from her. I don't watch Housewives of Dubai, but you know me. Y'all know what I'm going to say. Y'all know what I always do. I root for anybody black. It doesn't matter. So I will always root for my melanated queens. I've seen clips of hers, and I think she has a mouth on her, so I'm not worried about her ever standing up for herself or for anything that she might see a little bit off. Is that going to get her in trouble? Possibly. Who knows? Is she going to be the housewife that's just going to lay low, or like not lay low, but coast for a while and then ends up getting banished because she says something or does something? I don't know. I'm not mad at this choice. They always have to have some housewives on the show. I'm glad it's her. And she's stunning. Period.
Well, not only is she a housewife, she's also a model. She is a businesswoman. She's got a very successful makeup company under her as well. Um, and she's worked with a lot of big name brands too. Like she's got that business acumen that makes me a little bit more interested to see where she could go than if she. And I don't want to say than if she was just a housewife, because again, the housewives brought it last year like pretty hard, most of them. So like I'm not saying she's a housewife runner off. I think she could very well do well.
Oh, absolutely.
Problem being is that I don't know who on this cast she's going to immediately grab onto, because even with the other housewives, right, she's not part of the like US housewives circle, right, where like they have like the 5 cities and then like all of them are like kind of friendly and like they message each other and that kind of thing. So I'm worried that might be a problem. But on the other hand, I mean, the housewives kind of ran the back half of last season up until like near the very end. So who knows how this is going to turn out for Chanel, but I'm excited to see it happen.
You know what, you said that, I think she has the opportunity to either fall in with the housewives in the US, like they'll take her under their wing, like, yes, you're a housewife in the franchise, blah, blah, blah. Or she can take that moment to expand and like, I'm not with the housewives. I can, and other people can pick her up as a free agent, as somebody as a number or something. So I think she has a really good and her being a businesswoman, she's smart enough to know, I'm sure she knows when to get in and get out of a deal when it's not going right. And she has to have some kind of business savvy for her successful makeup brand. So I think she has the opportunity to either go with the housewives if they're doing well, but if that ship starts sinking, she knows how to pull out and be like, yo, these are US housewives. I don't know nothing. I don't even know them. You know what I mean? So
Well, importantly, we do have 3 other housewives on this cast.
yes.
And that's not even to mention the people that are part of other shows on the same network that just aren't
Right.
housewife shows.
Right.
So they've got the connections there. We're just going to
Yes.
see if they've like shoved the dots together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Chanel, in terms of positioning between wild card and Bravo, the Bravo circle, is probably right about at that midpoint where she is someone who can align herself with either like, hey, I know that like you're the only person from your show. For example, talking to Bob, talking to either Bob, being like, yeah, no, let's link up. Or going to the Bravo side and being like, hey, I'm a housewife. I think Chanel, especially with her history, she is an advocate. She is very outspoken. I can 100% see her going far. My only thing is that they normally give at least starting trader positions to people who are not well known, but like big faces of their shows. I don't think they would give Chanel an immediate trader position because they have so many like big marquee names on this cast. However, Chanel gives me the vibe of if she is able to be turned trader, she will run that shit and she will win this game.
We shall see. Moving from Chanel to Trishelle Stoss. Well, another housewife. Don't know what brand. I don't watch Housewives.
She's actually not a housewife.
Is she Sunset?
She's Selling
Yes.
Sunset, yeah.
Oh, I knew it was the Selling Sunset. Okay, sorry, Trishelle, you're not you look like a housewife, but you're Selling Sunset, which I think, look, is right on. It's the same network. There we go. Bravo
Sunset
Network
and an
people.
actor.
There you go. Trishelle is. I don't know anything about her, so I am going to yield my time.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about her. I know she was a soap actress back in the day. I think Days of Our Lives, if I'm not mistaken.
Days of Our Lives and All My Neighbors, I believe.
Yeah, she's been on a bunch of stuff. So there's that. She's got an Emmy nomination for her, or daytime Emmy, but daytime Emmy nomination. And I don't know a ton about her, but what I can say is the look she is serving in this promo, that face tells me she is here to play. She is not here to be. She's not here to get coin. She is not here for the lovely trip to Scotland. She's here to win. And you can tell based on that face, she has a game face on. And I love to see it. Because it's kind of smirky, but it's also just like, look at those eyes. Those eyes intimidate the hell out of me as a game player. I'm here for this. And I think, granted, Selling Sunset, Netflix, it's kind of got that weird energy to it where it's not really in line with Bravo, but it's basically a Bravo show that just airs on Netflix. So, like, she could, bridge that gap pretty easily. We'll see what happens. I'm curious to see where she does and how she does. For all we know, she could go really far, or she could just be an early boot because no one's really paying attention to her.
Right.
Yeah, Chriselle is not someone I know very well. I haven't watched neither any of the soaps that she's been in because I was too young, nor any of Selling Sunset because that is just not my typical foray. Based off of basically vibes alone, I have almost nothing other than she seems like someone who would potentially get herself into a good riding position and would potentially just go out mid to late game. But at the same time, I have nothing. This is just someone who is a complete wild card to me.
Yeah, I have no idea. But I'm interested to see what she does. I will say that. I may not know her personally, but I'm interested. Let's move along to this is Sierra Miller. Someone else I am not that well acquainted
Summer
with.
House. We're going back to Bravo.
Summer House
Okay.
and a nurse.
Okay. I'm not familiar with her, but again, I root for everybody black. So I'm rooting for her too, period.
This look is incredible. One.
It's fabulous.
Two, if we have
Oh,
learned
yeah.
anything about Summer House on the Traitors in the past, when we had Kyle a few seasons ago, they can sniff out a traitor really quick, but then they're probably going to get caught right after. So we'll see. At least that's the Kyle arc. I don't know too much about Summer House. I've never watched it. Apparently, it's had 8 seasons. I don't know. But I will say, this is someone I can see blending in super well with the Traitor Brigade. Just like, kind of like being like I don't want to say the Parvati, but like the late addition to the Traitors that nobody really sees. Because, they're going to have somebody from like Survivor or Big Brother is going to be one of the Traitors. We know that. We kind of have like an expectation of that. She strikes me as the like wolf in sheep's clothing traitor. Nobody's really paying attention to on a game level, but she's just making tiny moves inside the turret and just like lightly aiming things slightly the way she wants. Like, I don't know. Just the energy I'm getting from this promo alone gives me like quiet assassin energy.
So, one, being someone who's just been on reality TV, I dug a little bit. She has been in consistent drama over her seasons based on who she's dating. The other thing I will say is naturally just being a nurse, to be a nurse, you have to be fucking smart because it's a lot of time and effort to do that. But also you have to know how to be compassionate and caring because you are dealing with patients who are in various states of duress on a daily basis. I can 100% see her doing incredibly well. She's, as I said, someone who knows how to deal with drama, and she will actively deal with people. I think your assessment is right that she could be the one who's like, oh, okay, we know that she would be a good trader. This is a potentially big name to do that with. I don't know if she makes it to the end, but I can feel a deep vibe.
Okay. I I don't know. I don't know because I don't know her show, but I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her. I hope she does well, and we'll see what happens. We move to the queen herself, the one, the only, Miss Danielle Reyes, best Big Brother player to never win the game. I will say it. I don't care
Pause.
who.
Drop the
I
suffix at the end. Just say it. Best Big Brother
best Big
player.
Brother
Because it's
player.
accurate.
I mean, but to never win the game is accurate too.
Yeah,
But she is
it
the best
is.
big. It, she is the best Big Brother player ever. Um, Love her. She is the reason I watch Big Brother. She is the reason I play these social strategy games and try to emulate everything that she does in every game that I play because she has taught me to keep your mouth closed and keep your eyes open. Like, oh, love her. So happy to see her back in this kind of format of a game where her strategic prowess is like going to be at the forefront. If she's not a traitor, I will be a little sad. I will say. But if she's not a traitor, her being the best faithful to ever play this game, I'm here for it. I just want her to do so well. And I know the whole past between her and Brittany is a thing. I hope they squash that beef quickly and move on. Like squash it, eat it, keep it moving. As Danielle Riss. If you didn't see the early trailer, the 10-minute peek, she was like, I forgive, but I don't forget. That's fine. That's fine. I just don't want anything to mess with this game here that she's playing from the past. I just need her to be in this game, in that moment, enjoying this moment, and being the Danielle Reyes that we all fell in love with on Big Brother. I am so excited to have her back on my screen in this type of game. Reindeer games was cool, but this is another level of gameplay that I want to see from Danielle.
You know, if Big Brother 3 would have happened today with like the setup we have today, she would have won Big Brother 3. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that. The only reason she lost was because all the jury got to go home and watch her confessionals. If that hadn't have happened, she wins Big Brother 3. So, I mean, in my mind, she's an uncrowned winner of the show. And Danielle is one of those people that if you have not watched either Big Brother 3 or even her game on All Stars, where I will admit she did not do as well as she did on Big Brother 3, but I mean, again, quality of competition. But you need to look at her manipulation tactics. She literally got someone on the block, Marcellus, love you, to not use the veto on themselves and sent him out the door because it was the only way she could make it into that final three. I honestly think if she hadn't won, which she did. Danielle is an incredible gamer. And also, she's not going to let the Brittany stuff affect her in this game. She might take Brittany out. She might end up going against Brittany at some point in this game, but it will not be because of reindeer games. It will be because it is the perfect move for her at that time. And I think that is kind of just how Danielle plays these games. Every time I have seen her do anything, it is the perfect move for her at that time. And I think she's incredible. I am so excited she's here. This is the best casting we have had on the Traitors possibly ever. Like individual casting, I'm thrilled.
So, Danielle is personally, like, Danielle is such a one of two sides for me in terms of this game because she is 100% like one of the best game players and strategists that we have had on reality TV competition, period. As you said, literally the whole reason the jury is sequestered for Big Brother is because she lost, only because she was doing exactly what they told her to do and give confessionals. No one doubted her game until the moment they saw how they were manipulated. My thought is that Danielle has two paths here. One, she gets spotted almost immediately and she goes down fast because people are scared of gamers on the cast. Or she gets to the end. I literally do not see any other path than she goes home in one of the first 2 rounds or she makes it to the end. And I could see her also, unfortunately, as a very early traitor kill, because if people know what happens and people know how she is in games, it probably doesn't go well. The one thing I will say, though, is that we do actually get some, like a small bit of information about, at least in the preview that we got, on how Danielle views the situation. Because specifically, Brittany took out Danielle. Brittany was very emotional over that. And even just seeing Danielle, she was already saying, I'm so sorry. I didn't want it to go that way. And Danielle just said, okay. And in confessional, we know that Danielle forgives but never forgets. So 100%, I think Danielle outlasts Brittany unless some major switch up occurs.
I will say this right now. If I had a choice between Danielle being a traitor or Brittany being a traitor, I would 10 times prefer Brittany being a traitor in this situation, right? With them both being here. I think Danielle is going to thrive in this game no matter where she is at. But if Brittany's a traitor, that makes me think that Danielle is going to have a longer life cycle from the traitors not wanting to kill her. And I think Brittany being a traitor is actually better for Danielle's game than Danielle being a traitor. So
that is so true. Oh my God.
That is very true. It is very true because Brittany is going to be very hesitant about taking Danielle out in a murder situation. And I think Danielle will scope out that Brittany is a traitor before Brittany decides to take her out. And then Danielle takes Brittany out first. Just, yeah. Big braining. Big braining. But we're going to move on to Dolores and Tina. Now, where is she from? Because I don't know. Is she a housewife?
She is Real Housewife of New Jersey.
Period. Yep. Giving me house block. I don't know much about her either, so I will yield my time. I'm always excited about the housewives, so I want to see where they go, but I will yield my time.
I do not know too much about Dolores, to be honest with you. Like this is like New Jersey's the one Housewives franchise I'm not even like remotely familiar with, really. So there's that. Which is kind of a weird one to not watch, but oh well. I don't really watch most of the Housewives stuff. I just kind of like casually keep up on the internet. But I'm excited she's here. If nothing else, but just to have another housewife on the cast. I like the Housewives Alliance always being a thing on the Traitors. It makes me very happy. And you know, we have 4 of them this year, plus some other Bravo folks. I think this should be a really interesting year for any of the Housewives. Dolores kind of struck me, at least in what I've seen of her preseason, as somebody who's here to play a game but doesn't really know how to do that very well. So we'll see if I'm right or not, but I'm curious.
Dolores has an interesting track record across the entire Housewives franchise. I will note the most notable thing about her specifically is that across the Housewives in general, she was voted Miss Congeniality. So she is an ultra relatable person. She is someone who is kind and willing to at least stick out her neck for other people. I don't see a lot of game sense in her. I can see her being in an MJ-like position where she goes she goes far, but mostly because she's never viewed as a major threat that anyone has to deal with. But at the same time, I don't know much about the Housewives. I could easily see her doing really well and being really personable and getting far, but we'll have to see what happens.
See, knowing what you just said about the miscongeniality thing, though, I think that doesn't bode as well for her specifically, because if the Traitors are looking to take out a housewife, they'll probably take out the most personable, kind, and nice housewife.
Probably.
And out of those options, out of what I know and what we have heard, it seems like Dolores is probably going to be that person.
You're probably right.
We shall see. Dorinda Melody. I think she is a housewife as well, if I'm not.
Correct.
Housewives
This
in New
time
York
of New York
City.
City.
I must say, again, not my forte of who these people are. I'm always, like I said, excited about Housewives to see how that housewife bond will go. But that's all I got.
So she's actually no longer on Housewives in New York City. She finished up there, I think, in 2020.
Mhm.
She was always kind of one of those people that was a housewife, but like kind of just there. Like, I don't really want to be that person. Like, I don't have any negative feelings about her. She's kind of just always been there. When she was on the Housewives. So I'm interested to see what she brings to this cast, because I don't really know. That face is intimidating as hell, though. What she's striking in that picture, I'm terrified. And I think it could be really interesting to see what she does. Again, though, the 4 housewives being on the cast, that does either paint a massive target on the housewives, or it's going to allow them to move the game around them. And I think if we're going to have a strategic housewife, Dorinda's just as likely as any of the other housewives. So we can see what happens here.
So, along with being from Real Housewives of New York, the potentially more notable thing is that she's from the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, which is basically a mass crossover franchise between all of the US series. Between all of the US series from what I'm seeing. So she was on 2 different seasons of the show. So I don't believe she has any direct connections with anyone on the cast itself, but she does have a good the 4th season was exclusively Real Housewives of New York, so that would explain a lot. But she is someone who probably goes decently far. I don't really have a read on her. As you kind of said, she is just kind of a background character during her time on New York City. So,
well, I wouldn't necessarily call her a background character. It's just she's never been like a Teresa table flip kind of lady. You know what I mean? Like, she's never been that kind of drama. She's been involved in some stuff, but she's never been like that kind of housewife. But interestingly, I didn't think about Housewives Road Trip, or Girls Trip. She was on season 2 of Housewives Girl Trip, and other people that were on that season include Phaedra Parks, Tamra Judge, and Brandi Glanville. So she's had some housewives, like she has housewives with connections that have done the Traitors before, and I think that could help her a lot, especially if she hit up Phaedra before she went to this, before she came out for the Traitors. So we'll see what happens. I think she could bring a little bit more to this than maybe we're expecting.
We'll see. Dylan Efron, Zac Efron's brother. He's here.
what?
I don't know why. I mean, we couldn't get Zach, so we get Dylan, and
He looks too much like
he looks like
Zac
him,
Efron to be on claim to fame.
right?
We'll put him here.
And
didn't they do this last year where they cast somebody who was like related to someone, and then like I feel like at some point in the history of the Traitors, we have had somebody who was like related to somebody famous, and then They just kind of early. Like I don't remember who specifically, but I feel like we've been here before. I have zero hopes for Dylan Efron on this cast. I'll be honest. It's giving like Pilot Peter at home. I'll be honest.
I
Like
mean, Pilot Peter did well, so
that's
maybe
what I'm
Dylan will
saying.
do
Like
well.
Pilot Peter, like it's like I want Pilot Peter. We have Pilot Peter at home. Pilot Peter at like I just don't think he's gonna do nearly as well. I think he's gonna try to play like Peter and just fail miserably. So we'll see. Um, yeah, not very clear myself.
So, who you are thinking of is Marcus Jordan from the second
Yep.
season,
Mhm.
who had a kind of double-handed connection, being both the son of Michael Jordan and also Larsa Pippen's boyfriend at the time.
Mhm.
So he actually was doing pretty well until he got caught out for being in a good position with the faithfuls, and then got murdered. So Dylan, the issue with Dylan specifically is that the only thing Dylan is known from here is being on Zac Efron's show and co-producing it, essentially. He doesn't exactly have anything else that specifically like gives him an edge on this cast beyond just knowing how to produce stuff and being smart. This is a full wild card for me. Genuinely have no idea. I have extreme doubts he becomes a traitor at any point during the season. But I see him, honestly, he could be one of the people to go during the first couple rounds because everyone just needs a target. But I could also see him going kind of deep as like someone who just doesn't really have any issues. I can't see him winning. I just can't.
I don't I don't even know why he's here, but sure. Great.
Real.
Have a good time there, Dylan Efron, I guess. Moving on to Gabby. Now, she's not a housewife, is she? I don't think so, is she?
I'm double checking. I do not know her at all.
I'm not familiar with her.
She is a bachelorette.
That's what I
Oh wait,
thought.
wait. She
That is
was
what
one of
I
the
thought.
She was the double bachelorette, wasn't she?
She was one of the double bachelorettes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's what, I'm
that
like,
makes sense.
she looks familiar, but yep, now I know. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
that's why I don't know her. I don't bachelorette.
I don't usually bachelorette, but I did hear about the double bachelorette season because it drove me nuts because I was like, why do we have when it's finally a person of color to get the bachelorette, she has to have a double with somebody else. It just didn't make sense to me. But anyway, Gabby's here. She's no longer the bachelorette. She is a traitor. And, you know, we saw Pilot Pete, the Bachelor Nation, go pretty well in the season. We'll see if it happens again for Gabby. But for this for the Bachelorette franchise.
Are we all on the
Sure.
same page of none of us watch The Bachelorette and therefore can't really comment on her too much?
Just really not much to say.
I mean, the most notable thing about Gabby is that she is a double runner-up. She is a runner-up on her original season of The Bachelor, and she is a runner-up on the 31st season of Dancing with the Stars. So she's good at adapting, I guess. I really don't have much more information. She is a nurse as well, so same things that applied to my brain is completely fucking fried. The same things that applied to Ciara are the same things that apply to Gabby. I would not be surprised if she is a very driving force on the season. I can also see her being blending into the background and or getting randomly picked off. Because Pete did so well, they might think, oh, all Bachelor and Bachelorette people are like that, and just get rid of her. It really, really depends.
Well, this is the third time we have had a former Bachelor, Bachelorette on the Traitors, if I am remembering correctly. Because we had one near the end of season 1. If everybody remembers exactly what happened to him, I'm blanking on his name for some reason. But Sari did what Sari did and got him out of there real quick.
Ari.
Ari, thank you. I couldn't remember his damn name. So both times we have had a Bachelor on the show, the Bachelor has done something very impressive both times. So we'll see if Gabby can keep up with the whole Bachelorette franchise doing well. But other than that, I have nowhere to comment here.
And we have another Bachelor Nation person on this show, so it's fine. Somebody will do fine.
Mm-hmm.
We move to somebody I do know, a survivor. It's Jeremy Collins. Oh, survivor winner, by the way. Jeremy Collins. I love Jeremy. I watched Jeremy's season. I was excited to see Jeremy on this show, on the Traitors. I think survivors always have targets on their back coming into shows like this anyway. And so he is going to have a target on his back. The good thing about it is there's two other survivors who I think people will look at first before they look at him. And so I love that for him. So I think Jeremy could be in a good position in this game if he plays his cards right. And I think he might be one of those people. If he gets murdered, I think he's a banished person. I think he gets banished first before he gets murdered. I think he'll maybe say something or do something, or people will see him as a threat. So I don't know. If he's not a traitor, I think he still goes pretty far as a faithful.
One of my favorite survivor men. I love this guy. He's great. Also a firefighter, and that's a very hot profession. But so I'm excited to see Jeremy here. I think that knowing Jeremy very well, like from what we've seen of him in his other reality TV appearances, he is the type of guy that can just go in, figure things out very quickly, and then just move on. And I think that's something that Jeremy needs for this game. I hope that they target the other two survivor men before they target him, because, dear Lord, I do not like the other two survivor men that are not him. So I want Jeremy to do well here. I think he will, and I'm excited.
I do think Jeremy is going to end up doing pretty well in this season. I mean, I will say there is a footnote on the two other big Survivor players, because within the preview, we see there's some fuckery going on already with one of them, and we'll get to that. And I understand why it happens, but we get to that. I don't think that Jeremy ends up being recruited as a traitor. I think if you are looking to pull from Survivor, there are more there are more interesting options. And you can, in case you're not watching the video, I'm throwing air quotes. Interesting more meaning, oh wow, we can cast someone who's been a pure villain on a previous show in both Tony and Rob. Jeremy is incredibly smart. He's also incredibly compassionate. I can see him doing incredibly well during the season. I agree with you fully that he is someone who will 100% make it deep into the show. And if he doesn't make it deep, it will be a travesty.
I love you, Jeremy.
I love you, Jeremy. Lord Ivar Mountbatten.
The oldest contestant on the season of the Traitors, in his 60s.
So he
Not
is
bad for
our
60s.
not bad for 60.
Does
He
not
is
look like he is in his 60s.
no. He is our resident English UK Parliament person, I guess, or UK representative for the season. I like to add.
Is
Um,
this a casting type on the Traitors now?
it is.
I
It is.
guess
It's
It
so.
is.
casting type on the Traitors
We
now.
have to have
What the fuck?
we have to have a resident UK um something. And he's Mountbatten is his last name, so I'm guessing, assuming he's related to the royal family at some
He
point and
is.
somehow.
Correct.
He is
Hmm.
also the first openly gay member of the royal family in that
Hmm.
whole lineage. He's married to a man, doing
Uh-huh.
living his best life. Um, I'm just baffled that this is now a casting type on the Traitors. I'm
Right.
just one. I see. Two. It's now a thing. This is now a casting type. Congratulations, British politics. You made
Right.
it to the Traitors US. You did it. You made it.
I'm just waiting on the reversal. I need my one representative for of an American person, political person, or somebody on UK traders. That's all
Okay,
I'm
calling
seeing.
it now, it will be George Santos.
Oh Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
We just need a US representative on Traders US UK, but it don't even have to be somebody in politics because UK traders are just regular people. So any regular person from the US to go represent on Traders UK, that'd be great. But Lord Ivar, look, I have not been done wrong by any of the UK representatives on either seasons of Traders thus far. So I have high hopes for you, Lord Ivar. You have very big shoes to fill from last season, and I hope you do well. Live your best life on the Traders, and I'm excited to see what you do.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very interesting casting choice. I can't even lie. Uh,
Mhm.
Lord Ivor Mountbatten has been very much in the news as of like basically from 2016 on, mostly because he was the first gay person really out within the lineage, and also very much said his grandmother was also a lesbian, which I fully support. He's basically like, yeah, no, y'all tried to hide queer history, and no, there's been queer people the whole time, and y'all have just kind of sheltered it. He was originally married to a woman, and then got divorced, uh, married a man, and I mean, just to show how much, like, how amazing he was, his old wife, in basically collaboration with his kids, were like, yeah, you're good to go, like during the wedding, to his new partner. So this is definitely going to be in the same boat of like, I don't know how this is going to go. I could definitely see him doing well. This is going to be a weird wild card where it's like either he's going to pick up the game or he's not.
Yeah. His accent is going to give him a very long way. People are going to keep him around just because they like to hear him talk. We do that as Americans. I know. But Nikki Garcia, WWE, former WWE Divas champion, women's champion, now hosting a podcast with her sister Bree. I know lots about her as one of the wrestling podcast ringside people. Yes, Brooke. We do know lots about Nikki Garcia. I'm very interested in seeing how Nikki plays this game. I think I
Why
don't
won't
know. I don't know her strategic prowess. I don't we didn't get to see that for in while she was in the ring. Um I don't know what she'll do. I know she got a mouth on her always. She always has. She always will. I think she can sometimes rub people the wrong way. I'm interested to see how she adapts to being in this situation because her skill set in the ring, I don't know if it's going to get translate to traders, but who knows? Because I think the backstage politicking might have a lot that she could do that could come into play with what she brings to traders. I'm interested. I'm interested.
I am not. I'll just say that. I'm not. Um, Never was a big fan of her in any capacity, really. Fuck her ex-husband, but other than that, like, fully have no issues with her on like a personal level, but in terms of like entertainment value, never was my thing. I never got it. However, if they're gonna cast a former WWE person on the Traitors, I think she is one of the better choices. I think, she's got that reality TV experience. Too many seasons of Total Divas to count. Total Bellas on top of that. She was a judge on America's Got Talent Extreme. Like, she's done a lot of stuff. So I can't be mad at her being here. Personally, not a huge fan. Never have been. Probably never will be. But I'm not mad at her presence. I think it's going to be fine. I don't see her getting particularly far. I think she's going to get taken out pretty early. But especially because she doesn't really have anybody to like latch on to as her close ally right off the rip. I think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, out of all three people here, I am probably the one with the least wrestling experience, being basically none. All I basically know about her from my basic searching is that she does a lot of reality TV, whether it is hosting, judging. She was very recently a host of a dating competition, dating show where twins were involved, which I don't even know how to feel about that. But I could definitely see her just kind of being there. I don't have much on her at all. We have never had any WWE personalities before. We've had sports personalities, but that's about as far as we go. So I literally have no idea.
I mean, I hope this opens up the doors to get a few more of WWE stars on there, a few different because I think it would be interesting. I think it'd be interesting. We'll see. This man again.
This man.
I met this man in Orlando just recently, and yeah, he was the king of Give Me Nothing King. But I took a picture, so it was great. He didn't really want to be there. I don't think he just obligated to show up, so he showed up and he had fun with the people who he wanted to have fun with. I why not? I mean,
why is he here?
He's been on everything thus far. As
Go
far
on,
as
girl. Give us nothing.
like
I have never been impressed with this man. I'm sorry. Okay, out of every single person who has ever played on American Survivor, why is this the guy with 5 seasons? Why is it him? Why is it this man? And on top of that, let's add on to the fact that he is also prominently featured on another season of Survivor where he didn't compete for about 80% to 90% of that season. And we just got done with dealing with him on Deal or No Deal Island. Yeah. Like, can I get a break? Can I just get, like, no Rob Mariano for, like, 6 years? Maybe even
we might actually get that. We might get that depending on how this first episode goes.
That's about to say, and then they make him a part of the twist. So now he's prominently in the first part of this game, and it's about him. Like, why? It could have been anybody else. Why?
I
don't
can
know.
tell you exactly why. And it is
Why?
100% because he was just prominently featured on Deal or No Deal. He basically has 2 shows that he can say he was a prominent figure on. And now it's like, okay, do you want Rob Mariano over anyone else on the cast, y'all? Because that's basically the twist as it's been stated is you as a group, if you want to, can vote out someone right now and Rob will come into the game instead.
There
I'm
is
gonna be
only
honest. Why are we doing this? Just don't cast someone to bring Rob on because you're 100% gonna bring Rob on anyway. Like,
I think the other aspect of this too is that because the way it was worded was that any one of you can come up here
Right.
and you can get Rob to join you, but then you have to eliminate somebody on the spot. That is so bad for whoever's game does that, right? Rob is not in the business of repaying favors. He never has been. Look at Survivor All Stars for proof. And like, why is he here? He is the definition of go on, girl, give us nothing, and he always has been. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't think he's good TV 98% of the time. Dear God, killed this man as fast as possible. I don't want him around.
unfortunately, with this twist, what I see happening in the next 3 minutes of the episode is Carolyn stepping forward because they already showed her to be a big fan of the other Survivor players. She will step forward and eliminate someone who is completely random from the season. So, unfortunately,
R.I.P.
Boston
Bob
Rob,
Harper.
yeah, I don't honestly see it being Bob.
I was
I
picking
think,
at random.
yeah, I know, but I mean, unfortunately,
Dylan
I
Efron.
see Dylan Efron. Actually, no. We'll talk
No.
about who
I'll talk about who I think it might be too. I don't think it'd be
there's a
Dylan.
good point. I think there is someone very specific who goes out immediately. And
I
you know
wouldn't
what?
be
I'm actually
mad.
not
Why?
against it.
I
I'm not
wouldn't be
against
mad.
it.
I think we're talking about the same person, Jack.
We are
and I
probably
would,
talking about the same
and I would
person.
not be mad if it happened that way.
If it is
But
the person I want to be the first boot of this cast, I will be fine.
Yeah.
It would have
person
been
who
Rob. If I had a
100%
choice of who I can make the first boot, it would be Rob. So ideally, no one takes him up on this offer and they just let this man go home. But that's not going to happen. He'll be here. So
I think the only
just
person who realistically can be taken out by this twist, we'll talk about it, that would not immediately result in the repercussions of you just fucking eliminated someone for no reason.
Right.
Yeah, no, we know who's going out because of this, but
yeah.
whatever.
Let's move on to Robin Dixon. I'm guessing is a housewife.
our final housewife,
Potomac.
actually,
Okay.
of Potomac. She's a Maryland lady.
Great.
She's another one of those, like, you've been on Housewives for so long. She's been on every season of Potomac up until the new one that just started. But, like, again, not a ton to talk about with Robin. Again, not a negative thing. Robin was a good housewife. She was entertaining, but, like, again, we don't have a table flip kind of situation. She doesn't have Phaedra Park's iconography behind her. Like, she's just kind of a moderately entertaining member of a relatively B-list Housewives franchise. As in, not as a fan base B-list, as in, like, Bravo doesn't promote them B-list. So Jack agrees.
Yeah, no. So just from my research, the only interesting thing that I personally could find about her is that her podcast called Reasonably Shady was sued by Eminem for the word shady. That's not a joke. That is just something that's happened. Mm. And seeing how that's one of the top results over her being on Real Housewives, I just don't have anything here. She's probably going to be nice. I mean, I could easily see her being housewife fodder where she ends up being part of the voting block.
That seems like the most likely scenario to me. She's kind of giving like Sheree
Yeah, I was
energy.
about to
As much
say
as I
that.
love Sheree, she's giving Sheree
She's
energy.
giving a charade energy without the flavor.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's like unseasoned Sheree.
Yep, and that's fine. Do you, Robin? Sam.
Britney Spears' ex-husband. It's
All right.
just literally that's it. He's just an actor, a model, and a fitness guru who is also Britney Spears' ex-husband. What the fuck?
Okay, and that's what we expect from him. Moving on.
Ah!
This is who I
I'm
think
like,
can
how
go.
you moved on like there was a better thing next to
This
it?
is this
Because
is
it gets
who I think.
worse.
This is who can go home first for me. So if they want to trade him out for Rob, so be it. Tom Sandoval on Vanderpump Rules is known for cheating on Ariana Madix and being a douchebag, and nobody likes him. I can probably say for the panel, nobody wants him here, and we don't want to talk about him. So there we go.
All I
Moving
will say
on.
about Tom Sandoval is one very quick thing. This
You're
man
saying
is
too much.
clinging on to his last vestige of fame. Get him out of here. Send him home. I don't want to deal with him. Bye.
Bye.
I am honestly very confident that this opening twist existed for someone
So
to
to
eliminate
send him home.
Sandoval and to
Yep.
just get him out. Because
Absolutely.
otherwise he would have won. He's 100% the first person to die either by murder or banishment because people don't want to deal with him.
I mean, we already had Gabby on the show on the 10 minutes was like, I'm not speaking to him. Like, and
Yep.
like everybody who knows. You and we love Ariana Madix here in this house. So what we're not gonna do is comport with the enemy, and you, sir, are the enemy. Moving on
As
to
you should.
Tony Blatchos from Survivor, winner of Survivor, two-time winner of Survivor, right? If I'm not
He
Yes.
won
mistaken.
Survivor
He won
once,
winner
and
at
he won
war,
that
winners at
game that
war.
they pretended was Survivor and Survivor Winners at War.
I mean, my thing is he's only
Yeah.
two-time winners because he played against all winners, but that's whatever. He's not like Sandra Diaz-Twine who won twice because she's
Yeah.
Mother
just
Diaz
good.
Twine.
Mother, who I did meet, who knows me, who was on this podcast. If you want to see the Sandra Diaz-Twine interview, it will be right here. Bing. Because I did
Okay.
talk to her. She's lovely, legend. But yeah, Tony's there, and he's the other person who I think is in the way. Well, in front of Jeremy, who people will probably want to get out first. And I wouldn't be mad at that.
Unfortunately for I think everyone on this panel, I think there is like a 0.5% chance he's not a traitor. I think he's
not a
Yeah,
traitor.
no, he's definitely a traitor. Are you
he's
kidding
definitely a
me?
traitor. But I also think, and this is maybe just me, that if I'm coming into this cast and I see Tony and I know anything about Tony, I
will
have
say
him
he
pegged
is
as a
first.
traitor immediately.
Uh-huh.
Because they already cast one of the two-time winners of Survivor on the show. She was not a traitor, right? You cast the other one, they have to. And if they don't make him a traitor, I will be stunned. I would love a season where they make only housewives traitors. I think that'd be very entertaining. Like, just 3 of the housewives, nobody else, and just see what happens. But I don't think we're getting that this year. And I think if any of the Survivor people is a traitor, it's gonna be Tony. I hope to God it's not Rob, so they have a chance of actually murdering him. But if I have to deal with one of the two of them being a traitor, I will take Tony any day of the week. So
Yeah, Tony is 100% a traitor. There is no shot that they cast Tony and don't immediately put him on as a traitor, even with the likes of Rob and Jeremy and Carolyn being the other Survivor players. He's the 100% the choice. I also think he goes home within the first 2 to 3 rounds because no one can trust him. Literally, I do not think a single person on this cast Like, if they are going to target a gamer, they are going to target Tony first. There's no other option. Regardless if he's a faithful or not, Tony's lifespan in the game is limited almost immediately by the fact that he won once, and then even if Survivor Winners at War is Winners at War, the title alone is, oh, you beat out 19 other winners. Immediately you're going to have a massive weight over you, and it literally will take the like 4 anchors dropping into the ocean for Tony to just be yanked off. Like, it's not going to take much here. I genuinely give him 2 or 3 rounds before he's sniped out of the game, either because he's not a traitor and the traitors don't want to deal with him, or he is a traitor and the cast doesn't trust him.
Well, something really interesting I think we do need to talk about is the relationship between Rob and Jeremy and Tony coming out of Winners at War. I don't know where any of them stand. I don't know if any of them are even particularly friendly with each other outside of the game. But it is one of the very few like in-game connections that we definitely have to work with. All 3 of them were on Winners at War. Rob got voted up pre-merge, thank God. And, Jeremy and Tony made it, into the merge, and then Jeremy got voted up pretty early merge. So it's really going to be interesting to see how the 3 of them interact with each other in this game. Will they let Survivor bygones be Survivor bygones, or will they let their rage at Tony winning the season? I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I think it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Now that you mention it, I am going to check if Rob or Jeremy voted for Tony to win. Because
yes, it was.
Rob was absolutely a juror because there was Edge.
Edge of
Oh, okay. So Rob voted for Tony. Jeremy voted for Natalie.
Okay, Jeremy voting for Natalie is so obvious, but like, I mean,
it is obvious. But yeah, there were, just to be clear, there were 16 jury votes because everyone but Sandra was a jury member.
Icon. She did not waste her time. She pulled that flag the second she made it to the edge because she knew she was not winning that challenge, and that's a queen right there. That is a strategist, okay?
She was like, look here, I'm not wasting my time with you and with none of these people. I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to go. Period. If I'm not going to win, I'm not going to be here. And that makes sense for me. That sounds like something I would do because queen stays queen. Period. Tony, great. And Wells is our other bachelor person. He is Bachelor in Paradise. And I like Wells. I watch Bachelor in Paradise more than I watched The Bachelor, which is crazy because I think Bachelor in Paradise was just funnier to me. It was kooky, it was campy, it was weird, but it was fun. And I enjoyed Wells on there as the bartender, and then turned into from bartender to contestant because the girlies was falling for Wells and thought he was so cute. I like Wells. I don't know what Wells is going to do here on the Traitors. I think Wells is one of those people who's going to probably be murdered, not banished. He's going to go along and people are going to be like, why did they murder Wells if he's not a traitor? We don't know why I murder Wells. Wells is such a nice guy. Wells is so sweet. He's so kind. I don't dislike Wells. I kind of like Wells, but I don't know what Wells will do in this situation as a traitor. I think he might coast a little while in the middle because a lot of people are not going to want to go after Wells for what reason. Because I don't think he's a gamer, but I don't think he's going to be one to be a pushover either. Like, I don't think he's somebody who's just not going to play the game. I'm interested to see what Wells is going to do because I have no idea.
Yeah, not a Bachelor person, so I can't really comment on much. I will say this outfit is the definition of "come on, girl, give us nothing." But other than that,
I think he looks smart.
He looks like he's getting swallowed up by that suit jacket. But other than that, he looks like he. Yeah, like he looks like he put on a suit jacket that was like either one size too big or like the way he's posed, it makes it look like it was one size too
No,
big.
that's a coat and then it's a jacket. He's wearing a
No, I
three-piece
know.
suit and then the coat over it.
I know. What I'm saying is, it looks like he put on one that was either one size too big, or the pose that they made him put is making it look like it's one size too big. Um, Jack, you see it too. You see what I'm saying?
It's a little off. I don't know if it's just the angle, how he shifted his body. Something is wrong.
Something is wrong. um, no shade. I'm just saying, not all of these pictures are winners. Okay, not all of us can bring the house down like Bob, but it's a bachelor contestant on the Traitors. Good track record there. Don't be the one to screw it up.
Yeah. So, along with being the bartender on Bachelor in Paradise, which is a consistent role, which cool. I don't know much about The Bachelor. I'm going to be honest with you. He is married to, as I go ahead and check my notes one last time here, he's married to, he's married to Sarah Hyland of Modern Family fame and also the former Love Island USA host. He is a radio host for iHeartRadio and podcast with Brandy Cyrus. Like, he is well connected. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has connections that we don't even know about, because he's been very much a public figure and especially still in the reality TV scene. Once again, Bachelor contestants for some fucking reason do really well on this show. Like, nothing about the Bachelor or Bachelorette lends itself directly to being like, you'd be good on a Traitor show, but it just works. And I'm very excited to see what he does.
I think it has to do with their non-threatening, like, demeanor from being on The Bachelor. Like, when you're on Survivor or Big Brother and things like that, and you're coming onto this show, people automatically see you as a threat. They automatically see you as someone who is who might, who's threatening, and they know these games and yada yada yada. Coming from The Bachelor, they're gonna be like, this person just wanted to find love. That's all. They're not really, coming to be a social threat. They tried to find love, and they found it. I'm happy for them. Yada yada yada. So they don't really look at Bachelor people or people, like, even how they did Bergie. Like, they didn't look at Bergie from Love Island as somebody who was a threat until he showed himself that he could be. And so I think
And then
that he, even though they played, they got him first. Well, they got him, but after he got them, Dan first, because Peter and his plan, as he should. But, like, I think a lot of people underestimate Bachelor people and, like, Love Island people because they don't see them as a competitive background and a competitive player, yada yada. But I think Wells is, I will give him maybe like the pilot Pete. I don't call him better pirate.
Pirate Pete. Yeah, just rob people the whole time.
Right. The pilot Pete arc, because it's like, yeah, why not let he doesn't. He's not threatening. Nobody's going to do. And I think he'll play well. I think he'll play well in this cast. And I think he can blend in with a lot of these, like, guys. I'm gonna be honest. I think he can blend in with them and be like, hey, I'm the dude. We're bros. We can, whatever. And I think he'll blend in perfectly with that kind of deal. So I could see him coasting along for a while and maybe even slipping to the point where he can slip into the finals and nobody will take, his either way. I don't know. I think he could possibly do it. I'm not sure. But that's that's the cast right there. He is our last person from the cast. But I want to bring this up because we need to draft there is a draft because we have to draft. We always have to draft. And I did randomize an order earlier while we were doing some of these some of our talking. And the order for this draft, since it was just me, Brooke, and Jack, the order went Brooke, Lana, then Jack.
Fuck me.
It's a snake draft. You're fine. I'm just
It's
happy because I
snake.
know I'm getting
Also,
my
I know that like my first two picks are
Wait, was
absolutely
it?
getting sniped.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold up, wait a minute. I kind of think that was right, but my thing went wrong. Let me make sure. Let me make sure because I did.
Also, for clarity,
oh nope. That was completely wrong. I'm sorry, and I
Oh,
will show you. It was Lana, Jack, then Brooke. That is
I'm
the
gonna
oh my
do
order.
god. So literally the exact opposite.
Yeah, it was Lana, Jack, then Brooke. That is what
Okay,
it was.
cool with me.
I'm so
Wait,
sorry.
that means I'm gonna get stuck with Tom Sandoval. No.
Yeah, sorry about that. You're fine.
That's right. Because I'm not picking him, but
I'm not touching him with a 30-foot pole.
Motherfuck.
I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, at least that means what are you gonna have to choose between Sam Asghari and Tom Sandoval? So enjoy that.
It's going to be me, and I will choose Sam because at least he's okay. At least he potentially survives the first episode. Tom Sandoval goes out within 10 minutes. 100%.
We'll see what happens. Let's start drafting, y'all. Also,
Yes.
make sure we clarify which Bob we're drafting in the first round, Jack.
Oh, absolutely. I
No,
am
that's
picking.
fair.
Everybody knows who I'm picking first, and it is Danielle Reyes. Please don't
And
play.
Jack's drafting Bob the Drag Queen, and then I actually have to consider who I want.
We don't
You
know
are
that.
absolutely correct. I am 100% drafting Bob the Drag Queen. Literally, I did not have any other choice for my first pick.
Uh-huh. All right. Brooke, who are we picking? Your two.
This is hard. Okay, one of them I'm gonna pick Brittany Haynes
Okay.
because she's the only one of the very few palatable choices left to me. So I think the other choice I'm gonna take is Jeremy.
Oh, gee, dang it.
Yeah, no, that was both of our next choices. I can feel it.
Yeah. All right,
Jeremy.
Jack, who we getting?
Okay.
Oh, let me take the
Okay.
ticker off.
Let me. Okay. So, my whole thing is trying to figure out who are Lana's two next picks and if I want either of those picks because I have someone in mind, but I'm 99% sure you are going to snipe them. And I do have a second choice that I'm interested in.
Okay, well,
You get one.
I get one, yeah. I am going to gamble a little bit here, and I'm going to take Chanel.
I wanted her. If that makes you feel any better, she was my third choice out of that section.
I'm very annoyed with you.
Oh, okay.
Very.
Could have sworn you were going to go after her.
Lana's now going down her list.
I'm annoyed with you, and yeah. Two.
Yeah, you get two.
I know, which is.
This is where it gets tough.
I'm going to pick Sierra.
She's so pretty, by the way. We didn't even mention that. Look at that smile. She's gorgeous.
And I'm picking Nikki.
Enjoy.
My team is going to be entirely wild cards. I can almost feel it. My next pick is going to be Lord Ivar.
Damn it! Ugh! I wanted him. Fuck. Okay.
It was usually me who always gets the British people. Like every season, I always get the British people. But
Okay.
all right.
So now it's time for me to commence Operation Draft people who I don't know about. We're gonna go with Wells.
Oh man. Okay.
And we're gonna go with okay, we're gonna go with Dolores.
Okay. All right.
I had to pick a housewife, and she seems like she's the nice one. So let's go with Dolores. She'll at least have a social game.
I am then going to draft the other Bob.
Okay.
Bob
the
Harper.
Bob team.
So both Bobs are on Team Jack, who does not have a Bob.
No, oh my god. That took me a little too long.
All right.
This is where it starts getting into, oh, these are the people that are left.
Right. I'm going to take Dylan.
Okay.
I don't know why, but sure. And this is going to hurt to say it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Somebody got to take them, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to take Rob.
By all means,
I was like that.
you can
That
have
was
him.
that was my next one of like probably a good hit.
Yeah.
Ooh. I believe Robin is still on the table, so I'm going to take
Robin
her.
is still. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to take Chriselle because that was like the one person I was left. I was like, okay, yeah, you could do things here. Everyone else left, I'm thinking, is going to be an early boo or Sam Asghari. So, actually, no, I'm going to take Dorlinda because I want another housewife on my team.
Mm-hmm.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, that leaves Carolyn, Gabby, Tony, Sam, and Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, and I am going to be taking Gabby off the table.
Good.
Good.
Good for you.
So Lana gets Tony and Carolyn.
I'm
Probably.
Actually, I'm going to take Tony and Sam.
Oh.
I don't have faith in Carolyn. I'm going to be honest.
Neither do
Take
I,
Tom. Take him.
But I have more faith in Carolyn lasting 10 minutes on the show, so I will happily take Carolyn.
I get you.
Okay, so I'm going to do something perhaps unprecedented on our draft. I'm going to elect to not draft a seventh member of my team.
Oh, no,
He's going in the cage.
No, you're taking him.
You're taking
him.
Throw it away.
Tom is on your team.
You can label it as just like a T on your draft because he won't be there that long anyway. But like,
he's on your team. He's on
your
team.
T on the draft. Can that T at least stand for like temporarily unavailable player?
That's not how the draft works. That's never been how the draft works.
I know. I'm mostly messing for content, but
I know. I get it. I understand it. I understand your pain, but that is it for the draft. For Team Lana, we have Danielle, Sierra, Nikki, Dylan, Rob, Tony, and Sam. The bottom half of my thing is all men. For Team Jack, we have Bob the Drag Queen, Chanel, Ivar, Bob, Harper, Robin, Gabby, and Carolyn. And for Brooke, we have Brittany, Jeremy, Wells, Dolores, Chriselle, Doralinda, and Tom.
The
I'm
bottom
honestly
one of
not
my
mad at
team.
all. I'm
I'm not
I'm
not
very
that mad at my
shocked.
team.
I'm not
I'm very
mad at
shocked y'all gave me
6/7 of my
several
team.
players.
It is what
Okay,
it is.
so
I do
we
need to know. I do have a question though before you jump in and try to steal my thunder because I feel like you are. I am hosting, so therefore I have questions. I need to know from the two of you, who do you think your initial traders are going to be?
okay. Tony,
Okay.
Bob the drag queen
Okay.
is what I want. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and Chriselle.
Oh, okay.
I have very similar ideas. My thought is that Tony and Bob get picked as initial players and they're told they need to bring someone in, and my guess on who they bring in is Gabby.
Okay. Interesting. I think the initials are going to be huh. Mm, I think it's going to be Bob the drag queen. I honestly think they're going to stay away from Survivor players still because Sari was just that damn good. But I think we might have Chanel because they need a housewife to be a traitor. And I think the wild card, probably Wells.
I could see
Yeah, I
it.
can definitely see that.
My thought process was because last season, because a housewife did so well as a trader, that they're not gonna put any of the housewives as a trader this year. Um,
Yeah.
which is the only reason I didn't pick any of them. Well, I mean, Chriselle is about as close as you can get to being in that housewives ilk on this cast without being in the housewives ilk. So
Hmm.
Now that you also mention it, I do think Wells is a pretty good shot of being a traitor because we've had the 2 season of, oh, Bachelor men do surprisingly well, but they've always had to play a faithful game. Making one play a traitor's game could be a lot more interesting.
I think so. I think so. I think it'd be interesting to see that. And I'm not mad at how it goes. Either way, I'm excited to watch it. It airs tomorrow. And we get to watch it. So I'm
well,
excited.
before we end off, I do have one final question, right?
Sure.
There was a teaser that happened about a week ago where we saw two former people walking across the yard in some white outfits. The two
Mm-hmm.
former people who have been on the traders, two former traders themselves,
Mm-hmm.
Parvati Shallow and Kate, last name I can't remember. So, do we think that they are just there to make an appearance? Do we think they're getting involved in any capacity? What are you all
They're gonna
thinking?
make an appearance.
100% appearance.
I
They're
hope
just there to be
so.
appearance. They're just going to do what they do all the time for like come in and host a mission or something like that, like they did with Dr. Will last season and other. They're not going to participate in the game. I think they saw how much of a flop it was for Kate coming back mid game
Uh,
last season because that was such a flop.
Kate wasn't a full flop. It
It was
was
a
still
flop.
entertaining.
It was a
Kate,
flop.
Kate made it to the end. She
It
did
was a
well.
flop.
But she was
It
never
was a
going to
flop.
win.
She wasn't gonna
Yeah,
win.
I agree with you, Jack. She's not going to win.
I
I don't
thought
think
it
she
was
was
a
a
flop
flop.
of
I think she
I
did
thought it was a
fine.
flop. I thought it was a flop of a like I wouldn't she wouldn't have been the one person I brought back. I'm just saying. That's the thing. I wouldn't. And then I wouldn't have brought her back only to and not make her a traitor right away. Like I would have brought her back and she would have been a traitor from the get-go instead of having to
Get recruited later on.
Right, recruited later. Like, but anyway, I think they're just there for an appearance. But that's it, y'all. We've been here talking about this long enough, and I'm gonna let y'all go because I appreciate y'all for spending 2 hours with me talking about Traitors Cast US Cast Assessment. And we'll be right back here right after the episode of Traitors US to talk about the full recap of the episode, how we doing in the draft, we'll see. And yeah,
How
all the
quickly Tom
questions,
Sandoval got eliminated.
how quickly Tom goes. But
Imagine a world
regardless,
where he's not the person eliminated here and he becomes a traitor. I don't want this, but it could happen.
regardless of what happens, we'll be here right away talking about it. So don't forget to follow us and subscribe to this channel here and all of our other channels. All those links will be in the description below, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon links, our socials at the Cut Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And of course, where you can get your merch at lanagcreations.etsy.com. And we are going to get out of here. So you know what? Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Bye.